Let's get back to Jim Rogers, our guest host, for more. Jim, you've been quoted saying that the crisis that we're in right now is going to lead to unrest, protest, etc. Well, how bad is it going to be in China, do you think?
Well, I don't know about China. They're already having some protests in China, as you well know. They're having protests in many parts of the world. The government of Iceland fell. The government of Latvia fell. You're going to see social unrest, civil unrest everywhere, including the United States. Yeah. We're in perilous times. The economy in the world is going to be bad for more than 2 or 3 years. Yeah. That's going to lead, it always has led to problems, Martin, so be prepared.
Yeah, indeed. We've had, a lot of people saying that socially there's a coming storm ahead. As far as China goes, though, the stakes are a little bit higher. I mean, that 8% target that Wenjiabao reaffirmed, that's basically apparently the rate at which the economy will grow enough to generate 10 million jobs to absorb all the entrance to the
I don't pay too much attention to government projections of economic growth. I mean, who knows if most of the governments lie about them. I do know China has been booming. Whether the 8% will happen or not, I don't know. I doubt it because the world's in recession. The world's in serious recession. And anybody in China who deals with the rest of the world is suffering. Some parts of China are booming and will continue to boom no matter what, but not everybody.
Okay, which is why then your investments in China directly through stocks, of course, would be focused on stocks that do not have that kind of export or outside exposure, correct?
Well, let's hope. We'll find out. I mean, things like water treatment in China has to boom. They have a horrible water problem. Yeah. Agriculture in China has to boom. They're spending huge amounts of money to revitalize agriculture. I hope that I've found industries in China that are going to do well no matter what happens.
Okay, and you actually hold the renminbi as well.
Oh, no, I own the renminbi too. No, I expect the renminbi to go up. It wouldn't surprise me, however, if it went down for a while, because there's so many bulls, including me. But if it does go down, Martin, I plan to buy more.
To buy more, okay.
If it goes up, I'll buy more.
Okay. If there's what is the biggest risk hanging over your China investments? What's the thing you're worried about most?
The only thing that worries me in China, I mean, revolution, civil war, famine, none of that worries me. The only thing that worries me is water. Because if they run out of water, and they have a stupendous water problem, then that's the end of the story. You can't do it. You can survive a war. You can survive an epidemic. You cannot survive if the water runs out. Then you have to leave.
And neither companies nor people can survive without enough.
Nothing can survive. Northern India, by the way, has a worse water problem than China. They both have gigantic water problems.
Indeed.
Jim, we've got a viewer email here. There seems to be some profit-taking in gold. Vivek in Toronto is asking, what's your opinion on what gold will do in the near term and long term? And Vivek is also asking about silver.
Well, I own both, as I've said. If gold goes down for whatever reason, then I'll buy more. Now, the IMF is trying to sell its gold, Sri, and they have the second or third largest owner in the world. If the IMF sells its gold, then that's going to drive the price of gold down a lot. If it happens, I would urge everybody watching your show to buy as much as they can. They'll have two beneficial. One, you get rid of their gold overhang, and second, we eventually get rid of the IMF, which will be good for the world.
But the fact that the holdings of the inflows, rather, into the world's biggest gold-backed ETF, the SPDR Gold Trust, they've started to dry up. They're hanging around 1,029 tons, still a record. Does that concern you? Should that concern the gold bulls or the bull case for gold?
Me so much money ran into gold, went up something like 50% here in the last 4 or 5 months. That always worries me when something like that happens. It has to. And people are running out of gold coins. You can't find gold coins anymore. It looks like the public, me, we're odd lotters. We're setting a temporary top. But even if that's correct, then I'm not a good trader. Even if it's correct, I plan to buy more gold if it goes down.
And silver very quickly, Jim.
I own silver. I suspect I'll make more in silver than I will in gold. But I think I'm going to make more in agriculture than I am in both going forward.
Okay, all right, it's the green stuff. Listen, let's talk about what's going on in the U.S. Jim, this is an email from Joe writing from San Francisco. It says, we're now 18 months into this crisis, and no one from corporate America has gone to jail. What is wrong with this picture? A lot in your mind.
Staggering.
Right?
It is, the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac did terribly fraudulent accounting year after year after year, and they're walking around with hundreds of millions of dollars in their pocket. It was worse than Enron. Lots of AIG, the same thing. Lots of General Electric, guys at General Electric who apparently have been, counterfeiting their books too for a while. There are many, many companies in America, and I know GE owns you, and I know I won't be invited back. But come on, it's a The head of Merrill Lynch took home $150 million for ruining the company. Oh, my God. What is wrong with this system?
Okay, listen, I mean, you've been quoted time and again and over again as a real acerbic sort of critic of the kind of approach that the new government is taking in terms of fighting the crisis and saving the financial system. But let's assume that they took the approach that you suggest, which is let them all die, the banks, the car makers, etc., since they've been mismanaged for so long. If that was the case, we would not have hyperinflation, higher prices, and higher commodity prices, would we? Still?
Well, first of all, I was a critic of the old government, too. I don't think I'm picking the old government's making the same. The old government made the same mistakes. The new government is just copying the old government. All right. So what? So we'd have a hard time for a couple of years. The world has seen this before. And you rather have a hard 2 years or a hard 22 years or a hard 3 years or a hard 13 years? I mean, we've got a problem. This is doing nothing more than delaying the day of reckoning. I mean, it's going to make the day of reckoning worse. The United States government is pouring trillions of dollars into failed enterprises. And when the day comes a year or 2 or 3 from now when they realize it didn't work, then what are they going to do? They've shot their boat.
You're saying they're doing the wrong things, but I mean, it's going to end up being the right thing for commodity prices, right? I mean, hyperinflation prices go up, rates go up.
Martin, I'm not a trader. I mean, my view of commodities is for another 5, 10, 15 years. No, I could care less what happens over the next 5 or 10 months. No. I'm a horrible trader. I buy things for decades.